topic of our discussion will be a lesson about watching our words. We'll see this demonstrated in the life of the judge named Jephthah, and through his life we'll come to understand the importance of speaking carefully. But first, I'd like to begin with a demonstration to help us understand this idea better. In order to conduct this demonstration, I will need 3 volunteers. I'd like to have one more adult volunteer, if I could, and I'd like for 2 of our young people to volunteer. Please raise your hand if you're interested. Who's interested? This won't be dangerous, but you might get your hands dirty. Okay, Yana, I see your hand up. Please come forward. Could we have another young person? Maybe if I share a few more details about what we're doing, the offer will become more interesting. We'll be learning the idea that's present in the book of James in chapter 3. In chapter 3 in the book of James, we learned that every kind of beast, every kind of reptile, and every kind of sea creature can be tamed and has been tamed by mankind. But no human being can tame the tongue. You see, the tongue is a restless evil full of deadly poison. This is the idea we'll be demonstrating. 2 more volunteers, please. Don't make me start calling names. Please come forward, Greg. Thank you. Can we have an adult? We already have our in-house expert on the book of James, Pastor Saeed, who's already graciously volunteered. Could we have one more, maybe adult volunteer from the audience? Great. Thank you, Jonathan. Come forward. Great. Now let's conduct our demonstration. So what we'll be showing is how easy it is to speak, but how difficult it is to take back words once we've spoken them. So the first part of our exercise will be a competition of sorts. So please open your tubes of toothpaste and please squeeze them as quickly as you can into the cups. First person to complete this task will receive a prize. Completely, yes, it must be completely. Jonathan, are you done? All right, a prize for you. Thank you. Thank you. Second place prize, a pin. Great, thank you so much. All right, the second part of this exercise may be a little bit harder. Please take all the toothpaste and put it back in the tube. Yes, seriously. This demonstrates that it's easy to speak, but it's extremely difficult to take back words once we've spoken them. Look at the difficulty of this. Look how hard this is. Do you think they'll be successful? I actually don't. I don't think this is even possible. I don't think it's even possible to do this. The whole thing, yes. Yes, this is how hard it is. Once you've spoken a word, trying to take that word back is as hard as what they're trying to do right now. Once words are spoken, they are spoken. It's not easy to take them back. All right, thank you so much for your efforts. I think we can excuse you from this impossible task. I think we've learned from the demonstration what we need to know. Round of applause. Excellent. Just leave it there. We'll clean it up. So that takes us further into the story of Jephthah. See, in Judges chapter 11, Jephthah was a Gileadite. He was a mighty warrior, but he was also an outcast. Jephthah was the son of a prostitute, even though his father, Gilead, was a famous and well-known man. See, Jephthah was kind of a man who lived on the edge of society. He lived on the fringes. See, Jephthah had to flee his family. He had to leave his family because he was an outcast, because of who his mother was. And he lived off the land, in the land of Tob, in a wilderness area. And around him, this is one of my favorite verses, worthless fellows collected around him. You don't read that about just everyone in the Bible. Let's see, Jephthah and his band of worthless fellows living on the fringes of society might remind us of, say, in Slavic history, Cossacks or someone like that, who lives off the land, who has a wild lifestyle, doesn't follow the rules, is a mighty warrior. You might think of Jephthah like maybe a Robin Hood, driven away from his family, living by the sword. So this is who Jephthah was. And the cycle of oppression for Israel continued to a point where the leaders of Israel became desperate. In Judges chapter 11, Israel's leaders came to Jephthah, begging him to help them with the problem of the Ammonites, another longtime enemy of Israel who was invading and oppressing God's people. And Jephthah made a deal. You see, Jephthah might have been a wild man, but he was also a smart man. In some ways, he was almost like a businessman. When the elders came to him and said, "Lead us into battle," Jephthah's response was, "Yes, I will fight for you, but only if you make me your leader for all time. Only if you make me the one leader." He said, "If I fight for you, I will lead you. That's my condition." The elders of Israel agreed, and Jephthah became the high commander of all of Israel's forces. And so that brought Jephthah into the heat of battle, leading Israel. In that moment of passion, in that moment of danger, there in the heat of battle, Jephthah reacted in a way that many of us might be tempted to act. Jephthah made a rash vow. Jephthah, instead of relying fully on God, made a dangerous gamble with God, a reckless deal with God. Remember, Jephthah, a wild man, took that into his personality and now is making this same kind of reckless dealing with God himself. But it turned out to be somewhat of a fool's bargain. You see, Jephthah was rash with his words. Jephthah makes a vow to God that if God gives him the victory, the very first thing to come out of his house and across his door upon Jephthah's return home, Jephthah will sacrifice that to God. You see, what Jephthah is doing is he's putting a condition on God once again. You see, we've seen this time and again with these judges. They have faith. They understand that God is mighty, but they want God to help on their terms, not God's terms. And Jephthah does this once again with God. He says, "God, I believe you can help me, but only if I help you first. Let me help you first. Let me make this rash vow that I will sacrifice the first living thing to come out of my house so that you can help me." Did God need Jephthah to do this? No. Does God need our help? No. God does not need our help. God needs our trust. God needs us to put our trust fully 100% in Him without any conditions whatsoever. The only correct answer to God's question to you is yes. It's never yes, but. It's never yes, but let me make a vow. It's never yes, but under these conditions. It's never yes, but let me help. It's only yes. Say yes to God. Don't do anything else when God asks you a question. That was Jephthah's mistake. But nonetheless, God uses Jephthah. God grants him the victory. He is successful. He wins the victory over the Ammonites. The Ammonites were subdued before the people of Israel. But when Jephthah comes home, to his home city at Mizpah, who comes out of his house? Not an ox, not a cow, not a sheep, not a goat. His daughter comes out. This is the consequence of speaking rashly. And unfortunately, the consequences of rash speech do not only fall on the head of the speaker, they often fall on the innocent people around them. This is unfortunately what happened. Jephthah's family will suffer because of his rash vow before God. As soon as he sees his daughter, he tears his clothes. But he cannot take back his words. He has made a vow before God. Once words have been spoken, it's just like this toothpaste here. Toothpaste doesn't go back in the tube. Words that have been spoken can't go back in our mouth. We must think before we speak. Jephthah knows he has made a mistake. He is sad before God. And unfortunately, this great judge who wins this great victory will be remembered not so much for his victory, but because of his rash vow. This is really the thing that characterizes his life. The fate of his daughter is to be sacrificed. We don't read the details of how that happens, but we know that vows before God cannot be taken back. And so Jephthah and his family and his daughter mourn the rashness of his vow. What we learn from this story is repeated in Matthew. Let your yes be yes, and let your no be no. This summarizes the moral of Jephthah's life very well. Matthew chapter 5, again, you have heard that it was said to those of old, you shall not swear falsely, but shall perform to the Lord what you have sworn. But I say to you, do not take an oath at all, either by heaven, for it is the throne of God, or by the earth, for it is his footstool, or by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. And also, do not take an oath by your head, for you cannot make one hair white or black. Let what you say be simply yes or no. Anything else, anything more than this, comes from evil. This is a good reminder to us, first of all, not to swear. Christian people should not swear. We should be characterized by cleanliness of speech. We should be characterized by a yes that means yes and needs no qualifier. In the same way we should talk to God, yes, without any conditions. We should also speak that way to other people. We should speak plainly, honestly, clearly, from the heart, and we should only agree to that which is possible for us to carry out. Let our yes be yes. Let's be known as believers, as trustworthy people, as men and women of our word. Let our no also be no. If you cannot agree to something, say no. It's okay for Christians to say no. In fact, Christians must say no, perhaps more often than non-believers. We must be ready to say no to evil at all times. And when we say no, we must stand by our no. No is the proper answer when the devil comes calling. This idea is repeated in the book of James. This is an important idea. Do not swear, my brothers, either by heaven or by any other oath. Let your yes be yes, let your no be no, so that you may not fall under condemnation. You see, there is condemnation that awaits those who, without repentance, speak hastily. You must not speak hastily, or you will face consequences. Weigh your words, because you cannot take them back. That's the lesson of Jephthah. Thank you.